Paul, speaking ahead of Saturday's game against Bradford, what are your further reflections on their game against Barnsley on Tuesday?
As I said, there were some positives in terms of some younger players and players getting another game quickly on the back of the Man City game the week before. So from a fitness exercise and trying to make people ready for when opportunities arise, that was positive. I thought we had some good spells with the ball, had quite a lot of possession. We spoke to their staff afterwards and they were complimentary, but at the same time it doesn't change the fact we lost the game, and we lost the game in general, the first goal, which we have to defend that better, and it's what happens in both boxes often that determines the outcomes and the results. So we don't want to fall into the trap of becoming sort of pretty, but not having a cutting edge, and not putting us concentration and putting your bodies on the line in keeping the ball out of the net.
So you're probably looking for much more of a Gillingham performance in terms of that ruthlessness and taking the opportunities when we get them, aren't you?
Yeah, and look, it's a first team squad, so we're all in this together. At the same time, there were quite a few changes the other night, and we played a different way because of the personnel what I had available to me. Not the worst thing, because it gave us a look at a different formation in a competitive game. But I think in terms of mindset and going into this Bradford game, we need to sort of flip back to this sort of feeling and the performance against Gillingham, and we're going to have to be good. Bradford have had arguably a mixed start in terms of their record, but we all know that the expectation there will be to win promotion. I think they're aware it's a very tough challenge ahead, but they're a big club for this league. Extremely well supported. One of those fixtures that you look at and you look forward to, because there's going to be a great atmosphere. Plus, we're on TV, so everything's there for it to be a really good but difficult game.
With it being a TV game, there'll be a few fresh haircuts from the lads. Do you think it's an additional motivation for them to perform well on telly?
Well, they always seem to be getting their haircut. Some of them, I think, is every week. Must be paying them too much. But no, I think it adds an extra, something to the mix. But ultimately, that shouldn't really change our approach or any player's approach. I don't, and that will be a kind of message from myself. Don't start trying to do things that you wouldn't normally do. It's still the game of football. There's just some extra cameras there, and extra, people watching across the country and maybe around the world. So we want to put on a good show, of course, but in reality, that doesn't change.
𝗛𝗂𝗍𝗂 will probably have a bit more about in this game, going back to somewhere it didn't quite work out for him. What have you made of his his first few games for the Mariners?
He'll be pleased, won't he? He's got a couple of goal of the season contenders already. He's looked a threat. I think he seems to enjoy working for myself and Chris, and wants to, the big thing is for him to try and stay fit. And at the minute, early days, but certainly promising, from pre-season through to where we currently are. And yeah, it didn't work out there, but I think in fairness, a lot of the time there, he probably was spent injured. Plus they have got a very good squad and good players there. Didn't quite work out. That can happen at times. So I'm not sure there's any, you'd have to speak to him I suppose, but I don't think there's any real sort of ill feeling or anything there. It'll be more just trying to show that actually they probably did make the right decision in signing him in the first place, that he is a decent player, but sometimes you have them spells when it doesn't work. As I said, I think the injury was certainly a big part in that.
Touching on injuries there, can we expect any of the players who were out to be returning for this weekend?
No.
And finally, probably expecting a big fan base, big following at Valley Parade on Saturday. How big an impact can they have?
Oh, they're massive. Like I said, it's a big part of the enjoyment, and it's all games are big games, but it feels more like it when you get a crowd like that and an away following like that. And the last 3 times have been all played Bradford away. We've had 3 good performances, but only come away with 1 point. I'm hoping that can change and we can reward that following, with a positive result. But I think last season I can remember both sets of fans having spells, and it was a great atmosphere. We came out the wrong side of the result, unfortunately, but it was a good game, and like I said, the type of game that you remember because of the atmosphere, and that's down to the fans.
Cheers, Paul.
Thank you.